Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Frame Live. My name's Dottie and Orly. I have my sidekick here, Orly. Hi, Orly.
How's it going?
It's going great. I'm really excited. We have a very special guest in the house today, John LaSpina. Hi, John. How are you today?
Great. Thank you, Dottie.
Awesome. Well, we're very excited to have you on our show today. So we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to you. BVL, or Bowling Veterans Link, Bowlers to Veterans Link, was started back in 1942. And it was actually a campaign started back then that encompassed the entire bowling community and the bowling industry to support the U.S. troops in World War II. And at that point in time, it focused on the morale for the troops that were overseas and ensured that the wounded servicemen received appropriate care and in a timely manner, right? Well, that mission continues today as BVL, and it's bowling's oldest and owned charity, raising more than $52 million over 80 years. Wow, that's quite a story, John. How long have you been involved with BVL?
Well, probably in the last 20 years, I've been super involved, but we always did something for BVL. And in the early days, I started in 1971. It was very much a bowler's fundraiser during league time. And we would always chip in and do what we'd have to do. As I got involved in the industry, I got to know people like Helene Phillips, who was the executive director, and Helen Duval, who was a professional bowler on the AMF staff, who would travel the country and teach veterans, disabled veterans especially, how to bowl. My favorite Helen Duval story, and she lived with us for a week while she was bowling in my bowling centers. She told a story of a man who lived on a gurney on his stomach. That's how he lived.
Oh my.
She taught him how to bowl by pushing a ball down a ramp with his forehead and getting joy from that. And, you know, because it's the oldest story, there are many, BVL is the oldest industry story. There are many moments like that. And what I like to tell is about all the good things that come from a bowling center that affects people outside of a bowling center. And BVL is a perfect story. It's just that's what it does.
And you know, that's one of many stories about how it directly impacted, you know, the emotional impact that had on that gentleman, to be able to know that he's able to accomplish something on his own. Maybe the approach was a little bit different, but somebody took the time to show him how he could still do something that he enjoyed. And that's huge. That's huge.
And so came, like, after 9/11, I wanted our bowling centers to be the place where good things happen for each community that we serve. And BVL fit in very, very well. After the Afghanistan conflict, my dear friend Wally Hall lost his grandson to friendly fire. As that, you see the video of the statue that fell down.
Yes.
That's the day this young man was killed at 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
And BVL grabbed Wally, and it was that moment that transitioned BVL from a bowler's charity to an industry charity involving bowling proprietors. And me being Wally's closest friend, I jumped in and we started fundraising. And that's, you know, it wasn't very significant until my son took over, and we had 4 or 5 bowling centers, and we would do intra bowling center tournaments. And all of a sudden, one year we raised $26,000.
My goodness.
And since there are no new ideas, we grabbed the Miller Highlight tournament format.
Okay.
Everyone gave us $5 for the second game, and that's what went in the pot. And all of a sudden, there were 4,000 entries in each of our bowling centers, and that, took a life of its own. So,
Absolutely.
and then in our world, we got involved with the PBA, you all know that I grew up with Johnny Petraglia.
Mhm.
So we made the Johnny Petraglia BVL PBA 50 Open, and we raised funds for BVL that way. He's one of our spokesperson. He dealt with Vietnam. I always think of him because some scars you see and some you don't.
Yeah.
And our mission is to brighten veterans' lives every day. And whatever scar we could help with, we do. And he'll get up
Yes.
and speak, and very often there's a tear or two, and he'll make every one of us cry. And, he lived through things that I didn't. The other story I tell about him, if you give me a moment,
Sure.
is I went to my summer job at our original Maple Lanes in the middle of Brooklyn. It was June of '68. I pull up and there's a big sign on the front of the building. Said, "Welcome home, Johnny."
Oh, wow.
And I said, how nice, the manager, the Brooklyn guy with the pinky ring and all that goes with the Brooklyn guy in that era, put up a sign for me. I go in, I say, "Joe, thank you very much for the sign." "What sign?" "The one outside." "That's not for you. That's for Petraglia. He just got back from Vietnam." And I said, "Oh, I had a rough first year of college." And
Oh, wow. What a story.
that story has bonded us. We laugh and we cry
Yeah.
about it. But he exemplifies what the military goes through, and here he had a charmed career. He's one of the most revered professionals. He's had a longevity, and he's won prize money in 7 decades. No one's really done that. So
That's right.
who would have thought that my father would build the bowling center in Brooklyn and his father would take him bowling? And here we are.
Isn't that funny how paths cross?
Yeah.
The least expected.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So between Wally and Johnny, it was natural for me to be part of this. It just evolved. We had 9/11. We had, we just said it's time to be meaningful, and why do this if we can't do some good? And when I speak to bowling proprietors, I always say to them, giving is good business. It truly is good business, because you gain respect. People don't want to hand you money unless they know that money's going to the right place. And I could say 2 things. One, I hate to correct you, but we've done an audit. We've raised $55 million. And it's so great. And $1 at a clip. But 94 cents, 93 cents of every one of those dollars goes right where it's supposed to go. Mary Haraz, our executive director, runs it from her home, runs it from her heart. And we have some others that do some consulting for us. But rest assured, you give us $1, we'll take our 6-7 cents, and the rest gets spent properly.
And speaking of that, this past Saturday, which was National Bowling Day, you had a very special treat. You were featured on Fox and Friends. Tell us a little bit about that. It's something that definitely made a lot of things possible for a lot of veterans.
Thank you. Last year we were on, we were able to give the vet centers of America, the VA vet centers, $100,000, and they did a Shark Tank challenge where vet centers competed, and they did I wish I could show you the video presentation. Each of them pitched their deal to us. One of them was,
Fun.
veterans want to take buffaloes from one state to another and do a buffalo drive, and surfing, and amazing things, all of which came to fruition with our grant. So this year, we also have a relationship with the National Association of State Veterans Homes. Mm-hmm. I think every state, I'm speaking out of school, but states have state-funded veterans long-term care facilities. So think of the vet centers, they're walk-in clinics, immediate care. and then think of long-term care. We've been sponsoring the one in Long Island. I happen to know the people that run it very well. And we've been sponsoring virtual reality systems for their bed, especially their bedridden vets who could put these goggles on and swim with the dolphins or take off on an aircraft carrier and live their lives any way they want, right from bed. So we decided to ratchet it up and give the vet centers $250,000 and give the Association of State Veterans Homes $250,000. I go to San Diego next week to challenge them to ask for grants. We don't want to tell them that we'll even sponsor more if we can afford it. But by bringing that joy to veterans who are in a long-term situation, that's a great thing for bowling to do. And then to do more Shark Tank challenges for the vet centers where people right now, right this minute, need help. It's joyful for me, joyful for me. And it helps enhance the story that we tell, which helps us get more money. You and I met because BPAA did a 90th anniversary fundraiser and raised $90,000 for us, first time ever. It was so well appreciated. And I put all that together, and Mubig, which you know what Mubig is, it's a multi-operators. They gave us $70,000. And bowling ball manufacturers, good people at Storm, gave us $20,000, all found money. So my thought was, if I'm going on Fox and Friends, let's play a better game. Let's let people see a $500,000 check and see what impact that has. It remains to be seen. I did say you don't have to be a bowler to hit the donate button. I got that.
That's right.
Yeah, that stood out to me when you said that. You said you don't have to be a bowler, and I was thinking the same thing. You don't have to be a bowler, or you don't have to be in the bowling industry. Anyone can donate to you guys.
As long as you have the confidence that what we tell you is right, 94, 93 cents of every dollar goes where it should. And the more dollars we raise, the lower our overhead is. So we haven't calculated this year, which was a record-breaking year because of all that generosity I just talked about. We raised $1,200,000.
And on that thing,
I was just going to say that's phenomenal, especially with the state of things right now. To be able to increase the donations is just.
So when there were 8 million league bowlers, we raised $1 million. Of course, there's a present value factor, and here we are with 1 million bowlers and a wonderful industry. We raised more than $1 million. So, pretty cool.
And so for instance, I'm kind of still new to the industry, and I know there's a lot of new bowling centers that are opening up that might have somebody not coming from a bowling background. What are some ways they could find out more information on helping you guys, or ideas they could come up with to raise money?
Well, go to bvl.org and reach out to any one of us, Mary at bvl.org, John at maplelanes.com, phone number 516-448-0584. Call us. People like me will always help people like you, Orly, who are new to the business. We want you to grow and succeed. And I'll tell you, grow by giving and show your customers that you have a great big heart. All the manufacturers, including Cubica, are working on Roundup features in the point of sales systems. Some are out there already, others are working on it. When you go to the grocery store, it asks you to give to the Cancer Society, and your bill is $18.11, and you give the 89 cents. You don't think twice about it, you hit the button.
Yeah.
But we're going to do the same thing. Now, what does that do from a business perspective? BVL has been on the back of league bowlers forever. Now it's league bowlers plus bowling center operators and manufacturers and distributors. Now we're taking it to the segment of open play, which is huge. And if we can get bowling centers to buy into it, to get whatever manufacturer does their point of sale system, and every one of them has said they're going to do it, hit that Roundup button, we're going to raise a fortune. We're going to raise the fee because it's small amounts of the same concept, little bits of money that add up. And what I would tell you, Orly, there's no get rich quick thing in bowling. We're a great big water barrel, and we make money in one drip at a time. And there are days, there's big storms, but there are other days, drip, drip, drip. And if you just hold to the vision of let's do business right each day, let's treat our staff with respect, take good care of them, they take care of you, and do the same for your customers, that rain barrel gets overflowed and success comes.
What a great way of looking at it. You know, one of the things that we talked about before we went live is that, you know, that BVL is just such a true representation of bowlers as a whole. We're a very family oriented. We want to take care of one another. And we found that, you know, even in COVID, and that's really why we started this platform Beyond the Frame. We want to come together. We want to be able to help one another. And so, you know, the message that it sends, though, to your community when you help and you get behind an organization like BVL, that message is really powerful. It says you care. It says you are willing to help others. And that's a strong business statement. So
there's an expression that a high tide raises all boats.
yeah,
And it's just true. So as we close the books, as COVID was coming upon us, and I'm sure I'll screw up the date, but as we closed our bowling centers, BVL raised more than $600,000. The next year, as we opened, we raised $911,000.
wow.
And the symbolism between 9/11 and $911,000 is like a message to me that, you
That's
know,
a
that
strong message.
I'm not pulling all the strings. There's someone else
That's
involved.
exactly right.
And
We
then-
won't ask those questions. We know what the answer is. So
And this year, $1.2 million, which is why we could save $55 million. So, you know, all I could say to the younger proprietors with bright eyes that see things differently than I do, always look at the bigger picture and always look to how you affect the community that you're involved in. BVL was natural for me. It was just a perfect fit. And it was always there. I had to stumble over it first, you know.
well, you know, John, we have almost 1,300 people following Beyond the Frame all over the world. And, you know, Orly, I want to issue a challenge to our viewers. If you are not involved with BVL, go to bvl.org, check them out. There's right there on the home screen. If you are compelled to make a donation, click on it. Don't put it off till tomorrow. Click on it. If you are a bowler, and I would encourage you to get involved, find ways, even if the center is doing BVL collections. The month of November is BVL month across America. Start planning now. Come up with how you can do your own little contribution this year. Be creative. Think outside the box. Get your employer involved. Find a way that you can make a dent and that you can make a difference in the lives of these veterans who unselfishly served for us.
Yeah, and I think if somebody has an idea, like have ideas of how they want to do it and they want to share with us, feel free to send us a message on Beyond the Frame or an email, and we'll share those messages, because there might be someone like me and new to a center that might be like, how can I help raise money? How can I, you know, so if they have ideas and they want to share them and they don't mind us sharing them, feel free to send them in, we'll share.
The other thing that I would like to mention is we do have viewers in all walks of this bowling industry on Beyond the Frame. If you are a veteran that has been impacted by BVL, we would love for you to leave us a comment or share with us how BVL has helped you. There's so many lives that BVL has touched, both the lives of people giving and the feeling that you have that you are contributing and you are actually serving those who served, which is the title I gave to this show, because I think there's such a message here. our veterans serve unselfishly. And there are so many people that want to help in some way for these people. And this is the way, folks. So make sure you go to bvl.org. We issue you a challenge. If you think that you can do more than the next state or whatever, hey, we're all about that challenge. We'll issue any kind of challenge there is out there. We want to help BVL break another record this year. We would love to be a part of that. So, John, I can't thank you enough for taking time and out of your day-to-day to be with us, but more so, I thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I just ask everyone who's listening to remember that we're free because people protected us. Some people paid the ultimate price. Others paid a big price. So we're free to run our businesses. Our bowlers are free to play a game. And it's all because of those who served. So BVL.org, hit that donate button.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, John. Orly, thanks for being our sidekick today and our co-host. Have a good afternoon, everyone. And go now and donate to BVL.org.
Thank you.